Hey, it's Roll for Crit at PhD's speed gaming event. We're talking to Josh from Czech Games, and you are here with a brand new version of Codenames, which is one of our favorite games of late, and we did a video of it recently and have had very good things to say about it. This is Codenames Pictures. Very excited. What's going on there?
So first we'll talk about regular Codenames. Obviously it's been a huge hit, runaway success, and a lot of that's just been to the great community of fans that have found and embraced the game. And like we at Czech Games, we really appreciate all that fan support and love that the game's been getting. So thank you so much to everybody that enjoys it. So what we've decided to do, and we actually were toying with this idea before during the initial concept for regular Codenames, is instead of words, we're going to use images. And the images are kind of these mashup of iconographic pictures that are put together. So unlike other games with like fanciful art or a lot of crazy detail, it's more black, white, and grayscale, but more like almost clip art, but not clip art. There's a lot more refinement to it, but just kind of that style.
Okay, interesting. So not quite the like Dixit crazy interpretation
right
kind of thing.
Right.
Okay.
So a lot of people are like, oh, have you seen it with Dixit cards? Have you seen it with these cards? Have you seen it with other cards? So we've while there is definitely a place to do that, and I'm super happy that people are kind of using our structure of a game and finding how to make it fun for them and bringing their own stuff to it. For us, we found what works best is the icon type style, because you take out you strip out all the color, because a lot of times people don't realize the color influences your perception of what things are. So there's a few cards that we were playing with and they were kind of shaded blue or kind of red, and we're like, well, this is clearly water. Well, it could be a paint blot, or it could be a blood drop, or it could be anything, but by coloring it blue, you automatically think it's water. So leaving those connections open is very important to people enjoying and exploring that space of the game.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that, and I still see plenty, because I saw you take out a couple of the cards earlier there, of being able to think, does he mean that card? It could mean that's France, but it's also a tower.
Right, it could be anything.
Yeah, there's a lot more interpretation. I know for a lot of people who maybe aren't as word-minded like me, because I see you say things like word-minded, pictures could give a little bit more of a spin on it. Is there any other than the fact that it's pictures, have the rules changed at all, or is it basically the same thing?
So the rules are basically the same thing. Because there aren't words printed, that gives you a lot more leeway with the clues that you're able to give, because it doesn't actually have written on there, like diamond or something like that.
Right. You don't have to worry about being too specific or anything.
Right. So if you want to say like woman 3, well, if all 3 of your cards happen to have a woman on it, great, that's awesome. But very much like the word version, the broader you are with the clue, the better off you're going to be.
Right, interesting. And release date?
So we are planning to have this at Gen Con this year. So end of July. Gen Con, early August. First week of August. There's a lot of shows coming up. But, first week of August for Gen Con, and I am trying to get it as close as possible to Gen Con for regular release. I would love for those two things to be simultaneous, but a lot of that has to do with our production and shipping. But I'm going to try to move it as close to that as possible. But I want there to be enough of the game supply when I release it, so it doesn't continually evaporate like it did last year. But again, that's like a very fortunate thing that people loved it so much. Like
it's a good problem to have.
Codenames come out last Gen Con?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember because I missed it, and I was like the next day I was like, why didn't I like stand in line for a copy of that?
Yeah, so we had brought almost 800 copies of Codenames to Gen Con, which is a lot of copies of the game. Even with something as large as Gen Con, like I'm friends with a lot of the other publishers, and there's games that don't bring near that many, even new titles. So we were extremely surprised and pleased with how well it did. And then after that, it just continued to sell, and as many as we can make, people would get.
Well, be prepared, Jonathan will be in line for this one.
That's right. If it's there, I will buy it.
Well, stop by, and we should open up the pre-order system before Gen Con, so you can just put your name on one and stop by and pick it up.
Perfect. All right, so that is Codenames Pictures, releasing initially perhaps at Gen Con. And thank you so much for joining us, Josh. This is Roll for Crit at PhD.